What is up? What is up? We are back and we are black. What's going on? This is your boy Warren G, the plays beat. Been clowning sucker free since 2003. Y'all know that. You can't finesse me. Trust and believe me on that one. Shout out to everybody that's at the Court Plantation. And if you had church today, did he come back? Ah, damn. Ah, he didn't come back. God damn. Well, I guess I'll just drink this licorice tea. So shout out to everybody at the church singing, Jesus, I'll never forget. Looking at it. Shout out to all y'all. Shout out to everybody that's trying to handle business and do what the fuck they need to do. Hey, Wendy, what's happening? Don't wait to the shop for the household, but we got you tuned in, bro. Hey, what's going on, man? Shout out to Wendy. Hey, man. I be checking out your digital newspaper. I like that shit. That shit is fly. Your shit is tight. We all we got. So shout out to y'all. I'm not gonna be on here long, but I just thought I'll just reach out to y'all, man. I was working on some shit. Hey, man, I'm getting my shit formulated, man. So shout out to everybody that's out there. Hey, shout out to the people that's not only working at the Court Plantation on the weekend, but making that extra dough to say it to whatever goals, dreams, ambitions that they have. And I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna keep saying this. Do not let anybody make you feel like shit because you gotta work at the Court Plantation on the weekend. I do. I'll never let nobody make me feel that way. Motherfuckers try to, oh man, that's fucked up, you gotta work the weekend. But you getting bread though. Trust and believe you me, while you not getting that bread, somebody else is getting it. So don't turn down nothing but your collar. If you need that bread to survive, get your bread, get your paper, man. Don't be letting these niggas control your narrative. So shout out to y'all. Yay. Shout out to everybody that's out there protesting and everybody that's doing what they need to do out there, that's showing what they need to do and understanding what it's about. You know what I mean? Because it is not easy at all. I'll tell you this, man. Shout out to motherfuckers that's trying to make a change and establish a system of justice. Shout out to them. You know what I mean? Because it's not easy. So shout out to y'all. Hey, man, we gonna get right into it. Man. Cut this shit down. Hold on. I was looking for something. I was reading some articles and shit. You know what I mean? Got to. But hey man, I appreciate everybody listening, subscribing, and doing what the fuck they need to do. Sorry about the last podcast. Every time I get, it be YouTube. It don't be my shit. I pay too much goddamn money for my internet, so I know it ain't my shit. It's always YouTube, fucking with the algorithm and shit like that, but it's all good. Hey man, we gonna make it do what it do. It's all good. I know that motherfuckers know that the protests will never die, even though they're trying to get us to stop it. Hey, you ain't gotta be out there being volatile. You just gotta handle business. Cause that's all what it's about. Man. Hey, the protests will never die. Let me tell you why they never die. Because people are becoming awakened to the bullshit. If you didn't check out my last podcast, I just got done reading this book right here. The Dark Prince of Rome, Italy, all that shit. Florence, all in Italy. Alessandro de Medici, very, very good book. Y'all need to go check that book out. Very, very good book. Very interesting. Good topics. You know, she mentions a great deal of other historians that's putting it out there. The past week on the Court Plantation was rough. As Tasha, we made it though. We are all we got. For real. Hey, for real. Hey, y'all know? Hey, I got to get on this real quick. If y'all ask, I'm drinking Egyptian tea, licorice Egyptian tea. But I got to say this real quick. Look, if you don't educate yourself, you're never going to know how to navigate through this Court Plantation. I'm telling you. I was talking to one of my homegirls at the Court Plantation because, you know, she has to be very introverted and compartmentalize how she feel because people will try to push you. And a lot of the times they'll try to push you because you are black. Well, I told her, you know, when I told the story before, I was like, man, you should read the ISIS papers by Dr. Frances Wilson. It just breaks a lot of that shit down. And then I told her about Black Labor, White Wealth by Dr. Claude Anderson. This book right here, this is my Bible. I tell y'all to read this every chance y'all get. You know, and I'm telling her, I'm just like, look, man, we have good scholars that have broken down exactly what racism is about. And I told her, I was like, racism is about the competition of resources. It's not about calling somebody a nigga or a black monkey or that. That's just racial slurs. Racism is the competition, is the competitive nature of racial groups to achieve and obtain their natural resources, use those resources to control, manipulate, and oppress another racial group. And since the dominant white society has control of the resources, therefore they can be racist towards black folk. How, Warren? Give me a definition. We can call a white person a crack all we want. Cracker, you know, honky. But a white person ain't gotta cause that. They can say, don't hire him. We're not hiring any more niggers today. That's it. Oh, you can't live here because you're a nigger and your money's no good here, nigger. That's racism. So we gotta understand what the difference is in between the two. That's one. Two, I'm gonna tell you this right now. The protest is good, and I'm glad that we protest and we out here doing what we need to do. But the protest doesn't just start at being out there, no justice, no peace. It doesn't stop. Educate yourself. Get these books. Understand that these books exist. See, the one thing that I have noticed about our Italian brothers and sisters, a lot of times they will not give us that knowledge of black folks ruling them. Now, a lot of Sicilians know that black folks have ruled them. They know about the Moors. But a lot of these mainstream Italians will act like the Moors were never there, like they learned the liberal arts without black folk, that they learn how to bricklay and become masons and architects and carpenters without Moors. No, that's not happening. And we have to go back and do the history and study. Right now, I'm reading The Great Men of Color by J.A. Rogers. I already showed y'all the last book I read by him probably about a year ago. It's called, no, 2 years ago. It's called Nature Knows No Color Line by J.A. Rogers. Very, very good book. And now see, because you know, motherfuckers only want to listen when it's a white person. Now, this white person in this book right here, this white lady in this book right here, she talks about J.A. Rogers and how you need to go read that book. And how he talks about Alessandro de Medici. But we don't want to listen to niggas, right? We only verify when it's a dominant society motherfucker talking. Because when it's our people, it's like it doesn't even work. It doesn't even matter. And I think what we need to understand too is, hey man, the protest doesn't just start at no justice, no peace. No, now we gotta go educate ourselves and we gotta understand what the fuck it is. And we gotta know how to, each one has to teach 21. So let's stop proselytizing and want to be a philosopher. See, I stopped that. I tell people, hey man, like I could have been like, yeah, you need to do this. You need to do that because back in the day, because you know, basically that's mental masturbation. You trying to show off all the shit that you've learned. Nope. That's when you first start reading. You want to feel educated. Nah, I've been reading for a minute now. When you do that to us, to each other, sometimes it can be it comes off as condescending. It comes off, oh, nigga, this nigga think he knows something. No. What you have to do is, hey, man, you should go check out this book. It's a very good book. And if they check out that book, then they can be like, oh, okay, I get it. That's why I can only give my family as an example. Not too long ago, probably a couple of months ago, right when the COVID-19 shit started, we all met up at one of my siblings' house. And that's all we ended up talking about. Racism, white supremacy, economics, black labor, white wealth, all that shit. That's good dialogue. Oh, what's going on, Tasha? I see you. That's good dialogue. You like, why is that good dialogue? Because that's what you need to talk about. Anything you watch on TV, you should be able to pull something from that and be like, damn, that's crazy. But look at how this relates to this. Like a lot of people don't know Fred Price. We know about Fred Price from California. Fred Price had Dr. Claude Anderson at his church. He had him there. Go on YouTube and look up Dr. Claude Anderson at Fred Price's church. He's there speaking about powernomics. But people don't know that. And I go hard on black churches, but I try to reel it back in and kind of joke about it because a lot of black churches are not arming us what the necessary tools that we need to circumvent the system of racism and white supremacy. Like, why, Warren? Because a lot of us, we don't respond, we react. We're reactionary because that's all we know. You have to know how to respond. Like I told y'all before, I remember a white person told me, oh, that was so sad how we forced the Chinamen to build the railroads. I just laughed at him because I know that's not what really happened. If you go read Slavery by Another Name, I think that Douglas Blackman, Slavery by Another Name, I'll put that up. It talks about how basically the 13th Amendment made it where they could just funnel black people back into the prison system, free labor, and then the prison system would make money off of it and have them build pipelines, have them build railroads, have them build work in the coal mine, all that shit. But we don't know that because a lot of the times that's not told to us. So we got to understand what it is. That's why we look at the protests in Portland. You know, shout out to Dame Lillard. He was out there doing what he needed to do. You know what I'm saying? Let's see if I can get some video footage. And if anybody listened to my last podcast, I had that one brother on there, and that brother was speaking some real shit. That brother was speaking some real shit. So here, I'm about to play this and see if it plays. And let's see if it plays. Yeah, but I'm not playing no commercials. Fuck out of here. Yeah, I ain't playing no commercials. Definitely not no commercials or no motherfucking whoever the fuck that motherfucker is. I don't want to play no commercials on Miley Cyrus, none of these motherfuckers. Just get to the point. But yeah, man, we got to understand that. Okay, get back to commercials. All right, here we go.
Straight day of street protests in Portland, Oregon. There were multiple arrests Friday, even as the governor called for an end to the nightly marches and violence. All this one day after police killed the suspected gunman in last week's fatal shooting of a right-wing demonstrator. Lilia Luciano is there.
On the eve of the 100th day of protest in Portland, police declared a riot, arresting 27 protesters. Several hundred marched to the police union building where local and state officers were waiting in riot gear.
Now, I'm not saying don't riot. I'll never say don't riot. I'll never say none of that. Riots are the voice of the unheard. So I'm never saying that. But let's keep it in context. George Floyd, Daniel Prude. You got all these black folks that have been Ahmaud Arbery. There's so many people, I would say in the last 6 months, that have been killed by law enforcement, but they're not going to do nothing about it. Kamala, Joe Biden, where the fuck are y'all? See, this is what y'all need to bring up when a motherfucker tell you to vote for Kamala. While she's so busy interrupting the versus battle with Monica and Brandy, bitch, your ass should be out there in Portland talking about, hey, we need to do something about law enforcement, but you're going to stay away from that. You're going to stay away from the people that's going to hold you accountable, and you're going to talk to people like Cardi B and Monica and Brandy. That's some bullshit.
Protesters chanted, others taunted, all demanding an end to police brutality.
Well, I understand that they're tired, but at the same time, we're tired of you killing black people.
As we were reporting, protesters...
You see what you say? You tired of you killing black people. They just edited that shit out. Because motherfuckers want to forget about the motherfucking niggas. Let's just protest and tear up shit and get free shit. Remember that. It was a white woman that burned down that Wendy's in Atlanta. It wasn't no niggas. They tried to put it on niggas, but it wasn't no niggas.
Their way for nearly 2 hours until police say some threw rocks and bottles at them. And that's when they moved in. Just an hour ago, we were witnessing a peaceful protest, and now it's midnight. Police have declared this an unlawful assembly, a riot. They started making arrests. They started throwing tear gas, rubber bullets, and this area was just packed with hundreds of people. Now, as you can see, is completely empty. Demonstrators can now face federal charges. Still, they keep the protest alive.
I came out originally with the moms group, and then I've just kind of stayed out here as a medic.
For weeks, protesters say they were met with excessive force from police, who they say look the other way when right-wing counter-protesters show up to attack them.
I'm saying, like, they were shooting at us, they were macing us, they're straight up pointing armed, like weapons at us, and the cops were just standing there.
But
exactly, because like Kyle Rittenhouse said, they told me to shoot at him. See, y'all don't know that. Kyle Rittenhouse said they told me to shoot at him. They told me to do that. So That's why he was walking in the crowd busting with an AK. Nobody's talking about that, but that lawyer backed off of it. See, that's why people got to understand the protests don't die. It's in the mind. Revolution is in the mind. So we, in my honest opinion, in my perspective, it doesn't just stop at on the streets. Now we need our coders. We need motherfuckers that can say, let's break down the infrastructure from the inside. But it's only the people on the inside that can help us break it down. And most black folk, like I tweeted before, they don't want to replace the system of racism and white supremacy and establish a system of justice. They want to maintain it and make it comfortable for them to live in. Because if I got my money and I got my shit and I got my house on the hill, fuck everybody else. It's about me and mine. And that's how the dominant society has been able to separate most black folk. That's why you have the bourgeoisie and the boule, the Angela Rye's and the Roland Martins and all them motherfuckers telling us to go vote, do that sucker shit because they know Angela Rye and them are trying to position themselves so they can get a job with Kamala Harris. They don't give a fuck about the niggas at the bottom. Because if they did, they would be telling motherfuckers, especially if you're a lawyer, this system is corrupt. We don't know who the goddamn, we don't know who the electoral college people are. We don't know how that process works. They never really explained it to us. You can win the popular vote, but still it can put somebody else in it. They've done it so many times. So we need to change the electoral college vote, period. We need to change the whole voting strategy, period. Let's change all this shit, make it more transparent. But no, they're not going to do that because then that's no job for them.
Those far-right groups are mourning the killing of one of their own. Patriot Prayer member Aaron J. Danielson, killed by Antifa supporter Michael Reinell. On Thursday, officers from a joint task force shot and killed Reinell after they say he pulled out a gun when they tried to arrest him. The protests have been mostly contained to about 10 government buildings around the city, including the federal courthouse behind me, which has served as a ground zero of sorts for most protests. There are events planned throughout the entire weekend and into Labor Day from both sides of the political issues. Jamie?
Lilia, thank you.
Yeah.
Is to help
right.
other people. The greatest.
Stop it. Yeah, right. We got to understand that. We got to understand that. We got to know what it is. We got to know what's going on. We can't just assume and be under this assumption that, oh, well, you know, as long as we protest, we did something. No, educate a motherfucker around you. That's what you need to do. Educate the people that's around you, man. And don't just try to proselytize to them and philosophize to their ass and try to be a philosopher. No, nigga. Everybody, no. I know I'm not, because I don't even know shit. I just tell people, go get the book that I read. That's it. No, go get this book, man, and we can compare notes on it. Because a lot of the times, what happens is, we want to just, I would say we want to just have the knowledge so we can look smart to everybody else. But that's all right, though, because here's the things that we need to understand. Voting is some sucker shit. And if that's what you want to do, go ahead and do that. Go ahead and do it if that's what you want to do. But I ain't doing that sucker shit. Why, Warren? Because, man, what the fuck I look like? Oh, man. That's sucker shit. I'm not gonna do that. And go vote.
What you did
and go vote for the lesser of the two evils. Cut this volume off, yeah. Because that's all they're trying to do. Look, man, if you don't understand racism, white supremacy, everything else will confuse you. And I'll tell you this, while you're out there celebrating Labor Day weekend and all that, they could be putting this coronavirus in the air, and they could possibly be putting it in the food. So you better get your natural herbs, or you better go see Tahuti Ma'atraherbs.com, MAATRA herbs.com, Ma'atraherbs.com. You better go check them out. I got plenty of his shit, and I got some more on the way. You better go get you some sea moss. I would suggest everybody go get you some sea moss. Stop eating that red meat unless you absolutely have to. Now, I would be very meticulous about eating any of that shit, because let me tell you, they're attacking us in the food. Oh, what you think you was gonna get away from racism and white supremacy through the food? Oh, if I could just eat, I'll be all right. No, nigga, they fucking with you on that shit too. They don't give a fuck about that shit. Don't ever think that the shit is gonna change. It's so funny how they're not talking about Epstein and Bill Clinton. Why has nobody said, hey man, Bill Clinton was in a picture with Jeffrey Epstein and one of his many underage mistress. So we can't link that together or question that? Why are we not questioning that? Because he's Caucasian. But they can fuck with R. Kelly till the cows come home and Bill Cosby all goddamn day, like I said before. Janice Dickinson perjured herself on the stand. They never did shit to her. So you can know the law, but the law does not apply to them. It applies to you. Ask Aunt Becky and her husband from Full House. Her daughter was like, I didn't even want to go to college. I just wanted to go for the football games and the parties. Look at how this industry is. Now, look at Dr. Dre's wife. How's he married to this woman for over 20 years? All of a sudden, they break up. Now you want $2 million a month. Man, now, bitch, you wasn't in that studio making those beats. But you want $20 million because that's the way the dominant society has conditioned black folk to be. They've conditioned them to be that way. Wake up, y'all. Understand what the fuck is going on. Read. Understand that just because it's a holiday, that, oh, it's all good. You know, Corona is over with and all this other shit, nigga. They got another plan greater for you. You are the commoner. Don't ever think that shit is gonna change. Don't think that the protests, no. Protests ain't gonna die. Motherfuckers, we should always be thinking about protesting mentally, understanding that. Stop getting on these corporate plantation jobs and bucking eyes and Sambo and buck dancing and yucking and whatever you say, boss, and all this other stuff. Stop. Sometimes just be still and be quiet. And don't do a lot of talking around the dominant society. And watch how uncomfortable they become. Because they become very uncomfortable when you're quiet. And they want you to react and be all emotional. Sometimes it's 10 times harder because you're dealing with your people. And you have to deal with them. And it's like, God damn, nigga. But that's okay. While y'all thinking that everything is so sweet, why don't you ask McCarran Airport as they laid off 1,000 people and MGM as they laid off 1,000 people. So while y'all jumping around for that clown-ass Raiders stadium, good job. I can't wait for you to go watch a goddamn football game. You ain't got no motherfucking job, nigga. Go ahead. Oh, you gonna keep collecting $600 a week? Right. Las Vegas ain't gonna keep letting you do that. You out your motherfucking mind. So go ahead and do that. Let me tell you something. When they propose things and make it seem like it's for you, it's never in your best interest. Ask Marilyn Good, the mayor Carolyn Goodman. She was trying to get them to do have us to be test dummies for the program. Shit, she didn't give a fuck. Why should she? She's never gonna care. But we think, oh, well, vote. Yeah, vote. Go ahead and vote. Go ahead and vote and see where that gets you. You see the royal family ain't talking about him. His ass was at Jeffrey Epstein's house too. They ain't talking about his ass. That's why they're trying to hit you up with the gas price is the cheapest in years. I don't give a fuck if the gas is $1 a gallon. Nigga, rent is $1,500 a month. So the gas can be cheap all you want. But if you can barely afford to pay rent, that's why wait till this motherfucker crash. When it crash, everybody better go try to get them some property. And don't be no suck ass nigga talking about, oh man, I don't want to be. Man, go ahead, do that. Monopoly's about property. Buy, sell, buy, sell. Buy low, sell high. Or just hold it and then basically build your little empire off your housing. Because let me tell you something, the opportunities, they'll give you the opportunity. They just not gonna tell you about it. And you're like, what do you mean? When the economy tanks, that's your fucking opportunity. That doesn't mean that they're gonna say, newsflash, go buy a house. Because 50, look, let me tell you something. 10 years ago, I'm gonna tell y'all right now, 10 years ago, today, Michael M, BLM, Bowel Movement. Hey, what's happening? Shawnee, what's up? What's going on with it? Tasha, damn right. The other bottom of the corporation, the corporation when you are. Hey, Josh, and yes, do we see some Sanborn on the court? Hey, what's going on? BLM, I see you, man. I'll tell you this right now, man. I'm going to tell you this shit right now, and I'm going to end mine. And Shawnee, I see you. I'm going to tell you this right now. The dominant society is never going to tell you. Now, Tosh, remember this. 10 years ago, the housing market was at the all-time low. Houses were going for $50,000. We had a relative that was, currently, he had a lot of more money than all of us. You know, I ain't gonna put it all out there, but he had a lot of money compared to the rest that we had. And I remember my mother at the time was telling his mom and his family, y'all need to invest in houses because these houses are going for $50,000 and $60,000. They looked at my mom like she was crazy. Now the motherfuckers ain't got shit. It's because a lot of times we don't want to listen to each other. And that's why I make it a habit not to go out of my way to try to tell motherfuckers what to do. I'm the type of person where I'm like this. No, I'm not finna do that. You'll learn on your own and you'll figure it out. Why, Warren? Because, man, sometimes people learn better when you're not telling them. Sometimes people don't learn when you're telling them all the time. Sometimes they learn from other people. And you can't get mad and get offended by it. Just as long as they learn, who gives a fuck? So, 10 years ago, the housing market was at its all-time low. It's getting ready to return back to that. So I suggest everybody start looking and booking and understand what the fuck is going on because that's what's going to happen. No games, no plan, no bullshit. I'm telling you right now, this shit is real. The protest doesn't stop. We was going to move over on Shine in the early 2000s. The housing market was amazing. Old and new developments. The north side could have been a mecca. Yep. Let me tell you something. In the early 2000s, Vegas was not even built up in 2000. Matter of fact, it was Northtown and then it was the city of North Las Vegas. If I'm not, because I worked for North Las Vegas. I worked at the neighborhood rec center across the street from Rancho High School. And then I transferred to Silver Mesa Recreation Center. And that area, Silver Mesa, was built in 2002, 2001. And that area was fairly new. Fairly new. Nice houses, fairly new. And there was a lot of black people that bought. And the housing market was low. And then by 2004 or 5, it went back up again. And then by 08, 09, it dropped. And then 2010, it was like at its all-time low. Then 2013, 14, 15, 16, it's all high again. Now, 2020, 2021, 2022 is going to be at its all-time low again. So that's your job to understand. They're not going to tell you. That's what racism, white supremacy is. They're not going to tell you that. Hey, but I'm telling you right now, I just wanted to jump in here because I got a lot of shit I got to do. I'm working on some music. I'm working on my plan. Man, I'm formulating this shit right now. I appreciate it. Hey, shout out to Michael M. Much love, power, and respect to you, brother. Build your credit. Hey, remember, credit is king. Build your credit. Don't trip. Don't think you gotta have an 800 credit score. That's a motherfucking lie. All you need is a 650 for FHA loan. We gonna get on that in a minute. See, that's another reason. See, it's esoteric knowledge. Dominant white society people are not gonna tell black folk, oh, well, all you need is a 650. That's all you need. You get an FHA loan. But they're not gonna tell you that. They're gonna tell everybody else that, but they ain't gonna tell you that. Remember that. Build your credit. Get you a motherfucking a secure credit card, charge pay it, your credit shoot up, boom, then you be ready to go get you a crib. Because let me tell you something, when this shit dip, and everybody that's listening, everybody is not able to be in a position of power to financially to go buy a $400,000 house. Trust me, I'm not either. But you'll be in a position of financial stability to buy an $80,000 home or a $100,000 home. Don't lie to me. So you can do that. So let that be your goal. Hey, man, I appreciate everybody listening, subscribing. Hey, man, I'm going to try to hit y'all up either tomorrow or Tuesday. Hey, I'm formulating. I don't like to talk about my plans when I'm formulating them, but I got something brewing. Plus, I'm working on more music. I might go live on Instagram one of these days. I don't be on there that much. But, hey, man, I appreciate everybody listening, subscribing, Shout out to everybody that's handling business at the Court Plantation. Remember, it's not how you react, it's how you respond. And if you're dealing with a nigga that's talking about all lives matter and Joe Biden and Kamala Harris is good and they not racist, guilty nigga, don't fuck with him. Hey man, I'm out. Peace.